we go again.
It's Kennedy, my brother from another mother.
What's good, bro?
Hey man, let me let me ask you something, bro.
What's up?
Uh, did you by chance see? I wanted to get your opinion about something. We could talk about it a little bit more. As a matter of fact, we'll save that. We'll save that. We'll save that. But go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm listening.
Okay. Listen, did you see uh, the conversation between Shaquille O'Neal and Angel Reese?
I did not.
Okay, so it's kind of funny because Shaquille O'Neal and Allen Iverson are now the
Reebok
president,
ambassador.
CEOs, or whatever of Reebok, right?
Yeah.
And they ended up giving her a shoe deal. She has like a line that's currently I think maybe in like another year she's gonna have an official shoe, right? But
Right.
right now I think she just has kind of like a collaboration deal or whatever, right? And so what's funny about that is that she has her own podcast or whatever. And Shaq has his own podcast, does very well. But Shaq, I believe, is on her podcast or whatever. And one of the things that kind of came up was the idea of Shaq that was basically saying, I think that y'all would be more exciting to watch if y'all had the rim a little lower, you know what I'm saying? So that y'all actually had some dunks and everything like that. And one of the things that I was kind of surprised to hear is that Shaq kind of suggested, like, hey man, you know what, you can go out there and sell a couple, sell all kind of merchandise. If you come out there and you was playing in them shorts that was about as short as them shorts you had on and wilding out, he was like, no, just hear me out. Now, first of all, did you see the shorts that she had on wilding out? Okay. So he's basically like, yo, man, yeah, man, you be selling all kind of merchandise. If you was out there, y'all out here dunking, you out here wearing them little shorts out there, cheaped out and everything. And so it was kind of funny because some people were looking at that like, that's kind of creepy. You know what I'm saying? Considering that she already talked about don't sexualize me. Although she kind of goes out of her way to be sexualized in most cases, though, right? So my question to you is this though. Is Shaq saying that more advice for marketing? Is he giving her game? Or is it kind of like the creepy uncle, basically, bro?
No, it's not the creepy uncle because that's what Shaq does. Like Shaq has always been, you know, he's single. You know what I'm saying? He's a single man, and Angel Reese is legal. So
No,
it's
so let me just caveat that. The caveat to that, the reason why I say that the pervy uncle feel is because I think that it always comes across like Shaq is mentoring her, like
I
she's
know,
she's
but
niece.
here's the thing. I can't I can't realistically comment on if it was creepy or not because I didn't see the context of the conversation. Because if the conversation throughout the whole thing, because my thing is Shaq is also a jokester. I've seen him on his podcast. He jokes a lot and he's free because he's not, he's on his stuff doing his thing. So he
Right.
jokes like a lot. You know what I'm saying? People roast him all the time. So it could have been just like jabs of like because I don't really think he believes they should lower the rim or do it everything like that because I think that the WNBA is finally trending in a direction where it's getting more viewership. So as much as people don't want to say it, the addition of Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, that is a boost for them. So my thing is that to for me, I don't think it's creepy uncle because again, this is Shaq's personality. This is what he's done for years. I just can't see him crashing out right now as the time where it's like he gonna risk everything for Angel Reese. Like it just that just doesn't feel like a Shaq thing when I've seen him be Shaq on podcasts.
Yeah.
He's different when he's on podcasts.
Yeah, it almost made if you watch her, she's like it looks like there is some level of uncomfort on them and them having the conversation. Now, the reason why it kind of already seems like that is because I think this is recently, like a week or two ago, there was this video of Shaq out some girl who's probably about 21, basically though. So she's within that range, I guess. Apparently, who's Shaq at like 50 years old, would be like, hey, this is inbounds.
Bro, if you at that age and you still pulling them, Shaq ain't stupid. He know what it is. And Shaq is cool with that, right? Like I just saw a podcast with Dion Cole. It was a clip of Dion Cole on Club Shay Shay. And he was basically like, yo, I made the mistake and tried to go behind Shaq on this girl that he used to smash. And he was like, I don't recommend anybody do it. So I'm just saying, Shaq is an old school pimp, an old school player in the game. He know what it is. So if you still bagging 21-year-olds, that's what he's trying to do. Bag. He ain't out here wifing nobody right now. And listen, he got the money.
Let me ask you that. You said the last word that I was about to ask you. We always talk about, is it tricking if you got it? If the Shaq has so much money that I almost assume, not to say that Shaq doesn't have this dazzling personality, because listen, truth be told, there are only a handful of people who you can rival their lifetime of accomplishments and say this dude has lived a very full lifetime, right? Maybe Snoop Dogg,
I was just
right?
about to say it's him and Snoop, one of one. It's him and Snoop.
Snoop, or they have Snoop, they have those kind of people where you say they have lived a very full life. But my thing is this, though, is what Shaq, I always assume that Shaq is tricking off bread, and I think he likes to do it.
Shaq gives away a lot of money. Like he'll be in a store and just randomly be like, I got the next 8 carts. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when you have that type of brand, he's allowed to have fun too. He invested well. He's allowed to have fun.
I think, bro. So to imagine that though, right? Imagine not just following behind a girl like Dion Cole said, but imagine you following up a chick that's been used to Shaq out his work. It's almost like when people were talking about Diddy, and he was dating Young Miami. He had her out like on a allowance of 100 bands a month, right? That's a meal that he's giving her. Yes, Jet. How much again?
250,000 a month.
250,000. So you're talking about this girl basically has about $3 million or more that just allowance for spending. So following that up, right? That's what seems kind of like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think it's tricking. I think it's Shaq. But anyway, bro, what else we got to talk about? Because we need to get this music popping off.
Let's get the music on then, bro.
All right, bro.
The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. What your name is.
If you smell what the rock.
The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time.
Yep.
Listen, if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe to the Slash Brothers YouTube and Facebook pages, TikTok, Instagram, wherever you see us on socials. But you click on the notification, you click on the bell, you get the heads up whenever your boys is doing their thing. Ace Kennedy.
Yo,
I do have a question for you, a separate question. I'm gonna let you go ahead though.
No. Go ahead. Mine's a follow up. It's it's way off subject on whatever you about to say.
This is off subject. This is off subject. But on the list, what are we doing about Lil Durk, bro?
Unfortunately, I don't know all the details. I just think that now, if the alleged person was wearing a wire, it's a problem. It's a problem because you know when you get in the music industry, you got to leave the street stuff alone. So you trying to get retaliation over stuff, you got to move on. Got to move on. I think especially with the whole uh what's my boy name that's looking to get a mistrial? Uh
Nothing.
who?
Done.
Yeah, Thug. So with that situation, everything ain't gonna go like that. Especially when you got wiretaps and stuff like that. And like I said, I don't know much about the case. I just saw the headlines of stuff. So if this stuff is true, it's gonna be bad business, bro.
So let me tell you what I'm doing some journalistic research on this one for research purposes. I did a little bit of digging on this. So apparently, uh, they are basically tying all this stuff back to Lil Durk, not necessarily on the RICO kind of charges, but almost like as a kingpin, basically, because ultimately this is stemming from his retaliation, apparently, right? Or this is allegedly from an apparent attempt at, you probably don't, these are people who you don't know, but Rondo Quando is a drill rapper, I think also from Chicago. And apparently they said that Rondo Quando's people had something to do with King Von basically dying, right? And so apparently they are basically going after Dirk because they had one of the people in Dirk's crew that apparently was locked up, got on out. And by the time he got on out, he was working with the feds, said homeboy was wearing wires or whatnot. But part of that is apparently some conversations that they basically got Dirk basically, and they were building this on up essentially. But they were saying that they are doing this as a bat for hire in response to King Von's, right? King Von,
Right,
yeah.
right,
So
right.
what I think is interesting about that is that there was an attempt on Quando Rondo in L.A., but instead of them hitting Quando Rondo, they ended up hitting his cousin. He died basically, though, man, right? And
Yeah.
immediately after that, I remember Quando Rondo said, "That's it. I'm out of gang stuff. I'm giving it all up. Whatever, though, man." But I think that even still, though, apparently when this cat, who they said was wearing wires and everything like that, by the time he got out, the boy Dirk took care of him. Put some money in his pocket, bought him a crib, bought him a house, got him squared away, did what you would think somebody would do. And I think this dude served something like 10 years or whatever, though, right? So I think that one of the things that makes this a little more intricate here is that apparently this was something that they flew out to California to try to take care of. So apparently they had the drop on Quando Rondo,
Yeah.
and they said, book that. We booking these flights. And that's what made it interstate. That's what made it federal. And so it's looking kind of bad. And so there's a girl who I follow on TikTok, oddly enough, who breaks down. She always starts everything out by saying, I'm not a lawyer, but blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And she broke down the YSL case, and she's been following along with it. And so she added this to her list of boom. And based off of the evidence and what's been presented so far, though, man, it surely looks like that they have Lil Durk's people pointing him out and saying some very disparaging and not so courtroom friendly things, bro. And that doesn't look very good for the boy Lil Durk, and he was just trying to clean up his image, though, bro.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. And like I said, when you get in these type of positions, like 50 was on Breakfast Club this morning, and he was even saying, he was like, look, you gotta know when you hot or when you doing stuff that people are watching. He was like, you just gotta know. So you gotta move different. And for people of these high caliber, you know what I'm saying, especially kind of being related to other things, you got to know the people is watching.
Yeah. I think that one of the things that is interesting about Dirk is that, like I said, I think that Dirk had been doing a 180 on how he was presented. Because listen, man, if you go and you really look at the stories that they have out there about King Von, I mean, they basically paint King Von out there like he is a serial killer, bro. Like he is a complete sociopath. The way that they describe him, though, right? And it's kind of funny because when you describe when you hear the description of King Von, and then when you go through and you listen to his actual music and the storytelling, right? The story that's one of the things that's kind of interesting. I oddly enough start to get in. I start getting into King Von music about 2 months before he actually died. And it was just a random thing. I think I was listening to a song and that was by somebody else from Chicago. King Von comes on, and I was like, yo, bro, storytelling is A1. And then it was just like, when you start to do the research and dig around and people doing the videos, it's like, no, he's not just telling a story. He's actually sitting here basically recanting something that actually happened. And it's wild though, man, because I'm totally blown away by the history. Like there are people who go through and they document the history of all of these the Chicago drill scene and these wars that have been going on with all these young folks though, bro. And it's crazy about how many people have actually died behind all of that though, bro. And so to see that now there are finally, because a lot of all these deaths that have been done, I don't think there's very many times where someone's been arrested for them, right? And
Right,
so for
right.
this to be a final arrest for those, all the other ones have basically been unsolved, though, man.
And when they holding him to give him to like because it's a federal case now.
It's a federal case because he crossed state lines to go and commit the crime, to attempt to commit the crime. And what was also wild about it is that them boys booked flights out there. I think they said they had Dirk. He had on some manifest that he was scheduled to go out to uh, Dubai and to Italy. Like he was on his way on out at the time, and picked him on up though, bro. But I think that it's weird because when they said that this happened though, bro, they got flight records of the homie flying out to LA at around the same time this stuff happened. But then also the other people that were involved, they also it looks like it doesn't even look like Thug had some things where you could say, oh, that's not Thug. And they're trying to build a whole Rico case around him, though, right? I think that this one is just a little straightforward, though.
Yeah. And that
It's
part is
crazy.
unfortunate.
It's
Because
very
they
unfortunate.
with Thug, they tried to have all of these witnesses, but they recanting stories and saying they can't remember. But you got the wiretaps. That's a whole different ball game.
Let me tell you one thing that I do think that is interesting about the YSL case, right? Is that, bro, I don't think I've ever seen anybody get on a stand and that's associated with hip hop, right? Hip hop history. I don't think I've seen very many people get on the stand, maybe Gunna, that took the stand and become more popular than before they went in. Because I think that Gunna is more popular now. But listen, YSL, the boy Woody, he's everywhere now, though, bro. And I'm thinking, like, I don't know why he seems to be so much more accepted by people because he went on he now he has immunity, right? So he can't be tried for any crimes that he's already committed under his thing. And so he got up there and basically said, yeah, I did say these things, but I said these things because I knew that they wanted to get them. So I made up a bunch of lies. I was lying on him. That man didn't do none of this stuff. And I knew that they wanted to hear that or whatever. So he got up there and said that. I think that what's crazy to me about that is that the fact that he's taken the stand and you can't, all of the little social media shows and interviews. And he is all over the place, and he's like, maybe in Atlanta, I see it as a little different. I've never seen anybody rebound from that outside of gun, right? Where you say, no, he was ratting, if that's what you want to call it. He's ratting. And then he comes out and nobody's going to press him at all. Like, I've never seen anybody, like, you'll see some videos where somebody's walked up a gunner on the side, like, oh, you're a rat, and then walk off. What? Ain't nobody pressing Woody at all about that. Crazy.
You know, when are they just gonna throw the trial out, bro?
They're up to like 500 days now, and I think that they're very close to it, though, man. If I'm not, like, it seems like there are some additional testimonies that they're going to give, but I think that they're getting very close, not to throwing it out, but officially declaring it as a mistrial. There's been some. I think that there was one rapper who recently posted a picture with Young Thug's lawyer, and it said, and he had in the caption, you know what I'm saying, like hashtag something like Thug coming home soon, whatever. But it's almost implied like, yeah, this is coming to an end, because I still don't think that the state has clearly been able to pin this and find him guilty. And if anything, they presented the case that just made it more holes in it that make that more difficult. So I don't see how you find him guilty, and I don't know how you keep him locked up while you try to find more evidence, though, bro. It's crazy.
Right, because even the judge was like, you can't just be making up stuff while you in here throwing stuff against the wall to see what's gonna stick. Like,
Yeah,
nah, you making yourself look bad.
yeah. It's wild, bro. It's wild.
NBA, we 3-4 games in now. What you think?
I'm gonna keep it a stack with you, bro. I'm gonna keep it a stack with you, bro. I think now I'm only willing to watch certain teams, and that's if certain players are playing. I just realized this season more than any that I'm just gonna watch the games where there is a specific player that I like. I love watching the NBA, bro.
Mhm.
Generally speaking, this season, bro, I'm not interested at all.
Listen, the Boston Bucks game was so boring. Oh my gosh, it was
It's
horrible.
that game was horrible. Boston and the Knicks was horrible. And this is what I think I told you last season, right? I have absolutely no interest in watching an NBA three-point shooting contest, because it's not like you watching Steph. Like, when I want to watch a three-point shooting contest, I'm gonna watch Steph. I'm gonna maybe watch Klay Thompson. There are certain guys that are just, you know, who I would just pay good money to watch. Malik Monk, though, love watching. There are certain players that I watch for 3-point shooting, but what I don't want to see, though, bro, I don't want to sit there and watch the Boston Celtics fire up 60 plus 3-pointers in a game. And to me, it's like, I understand that, you know, threes are more than twos and you lean into it or whatever, but it this season completely removes everything that I genuinely love about watching NBA basketball. That it's just like, nah, I can't even, it's not entertaining to me whatsoever, bro.
So the Lakers have been balling. The Suns have been doing their thing. I've really enjoyed watching the Lakers versus the Sun. I think those are some
True.
good matchups.
Yes.
Clippers have been balling. That's been
Well,
surprising.
let me tell you this. I do enjoy. So this is the thing I do. I do enjoy watching the Lakers play, because I think that as long as the Lakers have LeBron and AD, they're not going to be a team that just shoot a bunch of threes. Like, I know that LeBron is getting older, and I know he's added the three ball to his range to stay current with what's going on in the NBA. But I think that it's not conducive to the Lakers winning their way if LeBron and AD is shooting a bunch of threes. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I hope Giannis never becomes a 3-point shooting for power forward, bro. Like, I like watching Giannis do Giannis stuff, and so I can watch them. I can watch the Kings. I can watch the Suns because like I said, I like watching Like Kevin Durant is a scoring specialist, but he's not gonna just shoot 10 threes in a game, bro. It's just it's
Yeah.
weird, but I don't catch a lot. I can't this season. I haven't been able to catch a lot of Thunder games either. Like it's only like one that comes up, one that came on TV, and they come on so late here. So
Yeah. Because I mean, tomorrow it's an 8:30 game. It's ESPN game.
yeah,
Which
yeah.
I supposedly singing the national anthem for.
So I'll say that, say that, say that, say that, say that, say that.
Yeah. Your boy's supposed to be singing the anthem tomorrow. I'm struggling. Can't get this cough under control, but I'm just gonna pray that everything works out and we can make it. So
Hey, I hope you don't go up there and do a Loomis.
do a who?
Loomis.
Are we talking about that girl?
Yeah, I never heard of it. You know how bad this is, bro? Listen, you know how bad it is that I've never heard of her before.
Me
And
neither.
the very first time I had ever heard of her, that is the thing, bro.
Right, and she was and cussing on live TV too.
Oh my gosh,
She said,
bro.
after
Oh my
after. She's like, it was because
It's,
I was nervous and just went back into it. And I'm just thinking, like, what do you do in that moment other than just pause, gather yourself, and keep going?
so it could be like, you know what she could have done? She could have got one of them moments where I remember they always play back to Lauryn Hill performing at the Apollo. And she was so young that she sounded like a little nervous, voice was a little shaky, and the crowd was starting to get on it. It was the Apollo. And then she got it together, got the nerves. You were like, oh, this girl can really sing, and boom. I think she could have done that though, man. But
It happened.
listen, bro.
It's happened to me. It's happened to me where I started out shaking and I had to get it out.
Bring it home. Yeah. That is one songs that's difficult to sing because for one, everybody knows all the words. Everybody's heard great renditions of it. Because Whitney Houston, and I don't care, I don't think there's anybody who's never heard the Whitney Houston version because everybody does some version or tweak of that particular one though, bro. And so you heard it sung so many times so well that you already have something to go off of.
But you also heard it terrible. So
Yes, I
Carl
heard it
Lewis.
very terrible. Roseanne, Fergie, you've heard some terrible ones, though, man. Yeah. You just don't want to be in that book.
Before we talk about the Thunder, Charlie did the halftime show Sunday, killed it, had a great little time out there. But yeah, the Thunder. A lot of people still surprised with how well we're playing. I will say we have kicked it up a notch since we let Giddey go. It feels like Giddey might have slowed us down a little bit, which, you know, I love Giddey. I wish Giddey was still part of the team. I think in a secondary role, he would have fit, but I get it. For him, as young as he is, taking that secondary role this early could be detrimental for his career.
Sure. If you think you're a starter, you got to play starter. He reminds me of Reggie Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
the pieces that we have now, of course, obviously we're missing Hartenstein, we're missing Jay Will, who is also injured. Kendrick is still hurt, but so of course that forced Chet to go back to the 5, and he been beasting, bro. Like he doesn't physically look like he's gained a bunch of weight, but he has been in the gym, and so he said he's been able to eat a lot more contact. We obviously saw what they did to the Joker and the Nuggets. So, you know, they have looked good. The defense has been solid. Even on the game that I went to Sunday, watching them against the Hawks, the Hawks had our number, but it was because our shots weren't falling. Now, mind you, it's a back-to-back game because we played Chicago the day before, but then we just found a way to lock in defensively. Shea had his quiet 30, and we back.
Let me make okay. Let me just say this.
What's up?
When it comes to the NBA,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fan of players more than I am of teams, right? I've always had certain players on different teams that I typically root for. But if there is a team that I would root for and say, oh, that's my go, it's Oklahoma, right? I do root for the Thunder Like, yeah, that's okay. But I say that and I add that disclaimer because I don't want to seem biased with what I'm about to say. Right? I'm gonna keep it 1,000 with you, man. I have seen Wemby play the first game that they had. I think Wemby's gonna be so much better with Chris Paul, right? But bro, I think I like Chet better than Wemby, bro, man.
Chet is balling this year, bro.
I like and you know the reason why? It's because don't get me wrong. I understand totally. I totally understand that everybody would say, hey, you know what, Wimby, you want to build a franchise around somebody. He plays, he got this defense. He like the 4 blocks a game is tough work, right? But here's the thing I think that I think is just I think, bro, that Chet to me seems like a more natural score, right? Like it seems like it's maybe it's just still my eye hasn't been trained to see somebody like Wemby's height do the things with the ball that he does. But sometimes it feels like when it comes to like here's a perfect like it doesn't seem to me to be a stretch to watch Chet shoot threes, right? But it seems like Wimby is shooting threes because he got the range, not that he's a 3-point shooter. And
Right.
I could be wrong, but Chet just seems to me like, no, and maybe Wimby does the same thing, work on all 3 levels. But I think that Wimby to me seems like he's a big man shooting threes and not a 3-point shooter that's just tall. Like, and so when I watch him offensively, he as tall as he is, he still seems very guardable to me. And I think that Chet and I don't want to use this is probably bad, but he seems to be more along of the Kevin Durant prototype size, where he is tall, but he
Right.
does a lot of guard things.
That's who he works out with all summer. That was what I was
Yeah,
gonna bring
yeah,
up.
yeah.
Chet is signed to KD for shoe brand. J Dub is signed to Harden shoe brand. I think it's
Yeah.
dope that old Thunder players have them under their wing, essentially.
Right. I
Um,
just think that, and it's not that I think that overall, you might say that overall, Wimby is going to be the guy, but I think to me, what I think you could see happening, or what I could easily see happening, is that so you know how like last season I was telling you that it looked like Wimby's teammates didn't think he was that good starting out
yep,
because they wasn't trying to give him the ball, like they wasn't deferring. And Chris Paul is making the offense run through Wimby though, right? But Chris Paul isn't going to be there forever, and so it just makes me almost think though that what happens if because Chet seems like all right, he's playing. He ain't the number one guy because clearly Shea is that though, right? But even then, it also feels like, all right, well, what's the difference? What's the distance? Do you think the distance from Shea to Chet is closer than the distance between J. Will and Chet?
yeah, it's much closer because I mean they're already talking about Chet. That's too different. That's too far off
Here's
because
what I mean by that. Here's what I mean. This is what I mean. Okay, so if you were ranking those, who do you put 1, 2, and 3? Shea number
Shea,
1,
Chet,
Chet.
and then J Will is gonna probably be 10. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
No,
that's
J Dub. I mean J Dub.
J Dub.
Those 3. J Dub.
Okay, J Dub is still gonna be 3.
Okay, so here's what I'm wondering. J Dub. I said J Will, I meant J Dub. But here's what I'm wondering. Do you think that Chet and J Dub are closer in terms of where they go eventually be in potential and all that other stuff
Listen,
than Chet and Shay? So
yes.
is the distance between 1 and 2 closer or further apart than 2 and 3?
No, I think at the end of the day, J Dub and Chet are gonna be interchangeable. This is why. I'm watching them every game. Like every game, I'm watching. The game is coming so easy to J Dub. J Dub can get to the rack at any moment. He can get
Yeah.
any shot he wants. The problem is they're not falling right now.
Right.
But we're talking about he's making the right decisions. He's making the right reads. His defense is there. But when I tell you he can get to the basket with ease, bro, it's scary. But it's just this particular season, his shots aren't quite falling yet. But I don't think that's going to be the case the whole season. If he keeps taking the same shots and doing the same thing, you're going to hear them start because the media is already saying Chet, Shea, and J-Dub could be all-stars for the Thunder this year.
Yeah. I can see that. I totally can. I just think that, like I said, when I look at that comparison of Chet and Wemby, like if I was looking like, and then here's the thing about it, right? So let's just say if you take Chet and you swap Chet and Wemby out, you put Wemby on OKC and you put Chet on the Spurs. I think that Chet would be averaging more points. I think that Chet would be averaging about 25 myself.
And Wemby would be a traditional center then. That the Thunder wouldn't be. I don't think
that he has to be a traditional center. I just think that him as where he fits in terms of the option for them scoring wise.
That's what I'm saying. Shea is the number one. Like there's no doubt Shea is the number one option. If Wemby comes on, it's not going to then turn around and be like Wemby's going to be the number one option. That's what I'm saying. So Chet is getting his, but he's getting it when it's his time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not like they're forcing to go through Chet and then whatever. He's getting his.
Chet, bro. I like Chet, man. It's funny because, like, I remember watching him in high school, though, bro. And I think I saw this one dude dunk on a bad in high school, though. And I was like, is he going to be good like that playing against, like, you know what I'm saying, them dudes? I like him more in the NBA than I did in college and more than I did in high school. Like, I thought that he had the skills. I just,
his kryptonite is AD, though. Like Joker, he battles with Joker. Like he will take the punishment, but you'll see him stop Joker a couple of times. But AD,
and it's funny because the AD's kryptonite to me is the Joker. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, who's kryptonite is Gobert?
I think AD.
Really?
Yeah, I think AD. I don't remember the last time I really saw. Cause see, I think the Joker does what he typically do against him. But yeah, see, I think the biggest difference is that the Joker AD can take Rudy out of the paint and do whatever. And I think the Joker can as well, but I think the Joker is going to, I don't know, AD just different. And I like the way he's been playing this year.
He's been playing real aggressive this year, man. And if he can stay healthy, and, JJ Redick is doing what the Lakers been wanting to do for a long time, is run the offense through AD. So if he can stay healthy, the Lakers going to be fine.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I not that I didn't want to admit it, I was skeptical, but JJ Redick is an upgrade over Darnham already at this point. And I'm gonna tell you the reason why. I think the reason why I think that it's the case is because it does feel like that they are, for one, running the offense through AD. They got it to where AD is this year the 1A and LeBron is the 1B. I think that they're bringing around Reeves more to where before I thought last year it was like AD, it was LeBron, AD, and then while Reeves was the number 3, it was a distant 3. I think that margin is a little closer. But I think that the other part about it is I think that they make better adjustments, man. They're you can tell that they are better when it comes to the X's and O's of the game, bro. And I respect that.
Plus, it's the people he put around him. He got Scott Brooks. Look at all of his assistants. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He got a good cast around him.
All guys that have been head coaches, but all guys who have been specialists before being head coach. So I thought Scott Brooks was good as an offensive coach. He got the defensive guys. I think that he has a very well-rounded staff. But like I said, I think that the big thing is that they make it. I don't think that Darwin Ham necessarily called timely timeouts. I think that there were some that you don't really see them very well that I thought last season have like good plays coming out of timeouts. Like I always thought that if you're a good NBA team and you call a timeout, you need a bucket that you can make these adjustments and boom, you're good to go because you got this play that you whipped up and I didn't see that for them last year though, man. So I think they do look better. Not to say they're going to win and have more wins. I think that they just look like a better team than last year.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, let's get into the cover story, bro.
Let's do it. Ace Killer. So at the Donald Trump rally,
Yeah.
right? They had a series
Kill
of people
Tony.
come on up.
Yeah.
Huh?
No, I said kill Tony. I thought you was. Go ahead.
I don't even know his name. I
So
seen the face.
Kill Tony was on the Tom Brady roast. So if you're on YouTube, that's what he does. Like,
Yes.
this is all he does. He does this stuff. This isn't new. This isn't
Professional roaster.
That's all he does. Yeah. He has a YouTube series where they get on there and comedians come on there to roast each other. Like, that's what he does. He did like a mock interview on the Tom Brady roast, and then he got up and assassinated everybody. That's what he does.
Yeah.
Time and place for everything.
Facts.
I don't think, like, if somebody was offended, I get it. Because for one, like I said, timing and the place of things are crucial. You're talking about a presidential. We're about 7 days away, right? A whole week away, and this is the October surprise that they call it, right? Where this could really shift things against you because you offended people who have a big say in how this election can go, especially when you're in battleground states and this, that, and the other. You're putting yourself in a position. But here's the thing: Kill Tony wasn't even the only one that was going ham, though. Like, yeah, that was the shock value because he talked about black people, he talked about Latinos, he talked about Puerto Ricans. You know what I'm saying? He talked about everybody because that's what he does, right? But again, this is your opener. This is the person who's opening it up. Then you got people behind him. You got Giuliani. You got old rat face Tucker Carlson. You got some other bald head dude I don't know, and then you got some little small head dude with a big head dude that had the small hat on. I can't think of his name, but anyway, they out here just calling Kamala all kind of, you know what I'm saying, antichrist, and she I mean, they had everything to say. And my thing is that you can talk about your opposition, but when you disrespect, like, you as a man disrespectful towards a woman, it just don't sit well with me, bro. Like,
let me tell you this. Let me tell you this. This is the thing that really pissed me off, bro. What really pissed me off to me is that, don't get me wrong. Like you said, I understand that in the confines of a joke, you are at a comedy club. You are on a platform, and that's where you get off those jokes. Listen, don't get me wrong. I like a good race joke as much as the next person, right? If you're watching a roast, and if somebody says something listen, if somebody says if a white person says a joke in the confines of other black people and other races at a comedy event, and it's racist, but it kind of get a little sting because you might feel that there's a little bit of truth in it, then you be like, oh, that got some sting to it, but it's supposed to. It's a roast, right? It's that you find that some kind of humor in these, these little things, whatever. But listen, bro, when you do it there, right there, to me, there's a couple things. You brought him on to do that, right? You know that that's his brand.
It's more to it than that. Not only did they know that he was going to be doing those jokes, the jokes was on the teleprompter.
Yes.
And the day before, they rehearsed.
So get this. This is the thing that really pisses me off. What pisses me off is the length that people will go to excuse Donald Trump and absolve him of these particular things. Oh, it was just a joke. I'm like, no, I get that it's the joke part, but the fact to me that if the intentions, to me, right? Do you have a president who has a history of basically saying racist things and bigoted activities? So when you come up and you bring in a roast guy in an environment filled with people who support this racist president, right? And I say that this, I say racist, you might say whatever, it's questionable, whatever it is. He has a very checkered racist past. You can't tell me that all of so much of your thing about your past has to do with race and you're not a racist. But even with that said, though, right? You thought, y'all know what I do. Y'all know what I do, right? So you brought me here, and I'm gonna intentionally give you what you told me. Got to give the people what they want. You got to get the people want you to go ahead. You got to give what they want. So you said no. These are the jokes for these people. The time and place for him. We might say, oh, there's a time and place for those kind of jokes. For him, they were all jokes about race because he is in the place where that is acceptable. That's what they wanted. So I'm just like, so when you as this is what I'm trying to say. There's a difference to me between a Trump supporter and a Republican. And people know better. They try to act like they're stupid and they don't know the difference. But
Listen,
my thing
and
is
I don't
that
entertain, and I don't entertain when people play stupid like that. We too
oh no
young.
no 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 I do. I'm gonna
No,
entertain.
no.
I'm gonna do
I
that dance with
I
you.
applauded you. I applauded you because you had time
I
yesterday.
got time. Wednesdays, I for some reason have time, but it started early on Monday. And my thing to is this. My thing is that don't try to sit here and tell me, oh, it was just a joke. Because my thing about it is, I don't remember any joke that he said that was offensive to white people. Do you? He
I,
didn't say that.
you literally took the words out
He
my
didn't
mouth.
say not a
He ain't
one.
said
So
not a
my
one.
thing, listen, so this is what I told somebody. I said, if you tell me that this same guy goes and say this same thing at a Lindsey Scott rally where they trying to vote for him, Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio. If you tell me that he would do the same thing at Ron DeSantis, if you pull him up and Mitch McConnell thing, you got him. You got him. But
Well,
he's
that's the
not
thing though.
because it's appropriate there.
But the problem is it's two things can be true, right? It is who they selected, right? But they selected him because of what he does. Now, let me
Yes.
kill Tony some bell. He does go after everybody. Like that's the thing. I know you say you don't know him. I do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, wait. Here's the part that I think that is more bad
Yeah.
because I think that New York City and Orlando specifically has more Puerto Ricans there than any other place outside of Puerto Rico. And I didn't know that the Puerto Ricans are so heavy out there or in Orlando until I went out there. And number two is New York. So the second most populated place in outside of Puerto Rico. You let that go in front of all the big puns and the people. You not that far from where Big Pun and Fat Joe hang out at, bro. And you said it on their turf. And my thing said, listen, okay, but why did you pick Puerto Rico? Right? You picked Puerto Rico because you already knew that Donald Trump had tried to not help them on now, give the money after those two hurricanes. Did you know? Did you know? Did you know that Donald Trump tried to sell off Puerto Rico to Denmark?
Did not know that.
Donald, not that long ago, he tried to sell off Puerto Rico as a province to like Denmark for like Sweden or somebody. Like, we'll trade y'all. You can go ahead. We'll trade y'all Puerto Rico and all of their stuff for another country, another province, and people let that slide. So my thing is that when you specifically say Puerto Rico, and you know Puerto Rico's history specifically with him, then that means that yes, don't get me wrong, because you were intentional with the jokes. I'm not. If you want to shoot us a bill, that's
No.
perfectly
Listen,
fine.
listen. So what I'm saying is the blame to me goes toward Donald Trump. It doesn't go towards Kill Tony. Kill Tony, you paid him to do what he did because that's what he does. It would be like if I went and got Bill Burr, right? You know what
Yes.
Bill Burr does. It's like when because Bill Burr he did a monologue on SNL and people was all up in arms. Bill Burr does what Bill Burr does. I'm not. So my thing is that if your job is to know the audience that you're presenting this person in front of. Time and place is everything. Nikki Glaser, Kill Tony, Kevin Hart, Andrew Schultz, all of them was at the Tom Brady roast. And they was letting everything fly. And
You
people
know, you know who I was more so disappointed in about all the people that got up there, bro.
who?
I was more so disappointed in Dr. Phil, bro.
Yeah, I
No
saw him.
more
I
so
didn't see what he said,
disappointed
but
in
he was
Dr.
yeah,
Phil.
yeah.
Because I'm thinking like, okay, bro, you roll with Oprah and you out here, and not just that, it's just the affiliation. You
Right.
want to be affiliated with these people and all of the connotations that come along with him at that expense, right? And never mind the fact that you roll tight with Oprah and that it's your girl. And listen, I'm totally okay with people having different political ideologies. That's fine. I think that, but listen, you ain't gonna play in my face though. I'm not. I'm tired. I'm tired of letting. I'm tired of just. Sometimes I'm like, you know what? Whatever. I know better, so it's cool. I'm not gonna let. I'm not letting none of that dumb stuff play in my face like that, though, bro. And I think that that's the part. So for me, yeah, he said it. He got listen. He got the reaction that he was looking for. But my thing is that listen, you can't sit there and tell me that you are just a Republican and you defend that, right? Defend the joke for that scenario. Then you get into where you're a Trump supporter to me. And like I said, I look at Trump supporters and I look at Republicans as two different groups, two completely different groups, though, man.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do. So now, get it out of my face. I don't listen. And this is what I said. I don't even have a problem with him saying the same exact jokes. If you're in a roast, if you have a,
Again, it's the setting.
it's,
Because what I'm
it
saying is,
is the setting.
Charles, what I'm saying, bro, this is what this is literally what he does. Like he has a whole following. This is what Kill Tony does. Like that. This is exactly what he does. This is not like nothing he did was anything different from any like I said, you could go literally watch the Tom Brady roast and everything he did there ain't nothing that he didn't do on there. The problem is it's you are trying to be the president of the United States. That means everybody. You're supposed to be everybody's president and you're trying to divide people.
Well, not just that. You do realize that Puerto Ricans are Americans. Like it ain't like they're another country. They're Americans. So we ain't talking about like you just went and talked about only people from Idaho. You talk about you making it. Listen, bro.
And
I
the
don't
reason why
understand.
black people weren't really offended by like when I say offended about the watermelon joke, this, that, and the other. We already know Trump don't like us.
Listen, this. You know what? You know the thing that really pisses me off, though. I'm not gonna lie. You know what really pisses me off, man, is when I see the this man got out here and said this, and knowing this, knowing that Donald Trump's history, right, of when he talks about the people that are coming on over, always kind of referring to the Mexican immigrants as the rapists and referring to them as their drug dealers and it's he that's the only way he really refers to the immigrants. And then you talk about his history with Puerto Rico, right? If I was Puerto Rican, I would feel disgusted at another Puerto Rican that supported him, bro. And it was something that was that hard. And I'm just looking at them like, he don't really rock with y'all either. Like, that's just crazy to me. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you though, bro. I look at other minorities that go hard for him differently, bro. I just be looking at y'all and I just be on some level of disgust. And I can't help it. I know I'm judging, but like, listen, bro. He don't like. I look at that, and that's like he don't rock with y'all either.
Bro, he don't rock with anybody that don't look like him, man. Call it what it is. He don't, bro. Like it's, bro. This is the thing. Now, because he needs you, so of course you got some black people that's gonna vote for him, and I got into it with one on Facebook on my Ace Kennedy page. And to a point, I said my points, and I'm like, all right, I'm good. I done got everything out. I done went back and forth with you for most of the day. Now, it's just like you said, what trips me out about anybody that supports Donald Trump, right? It's like you'll say, like, for Kamala, everything she says you want to press her for, right? But then Trump, we have to interpret what he's saying. Like, we ain't supposed to believe what he say, but we supposed to believe everything she say.
Listen, the supporters of listen, Nick Bosa, I saw him come up there after somebody's interview, and he was wearing this little Make America hat, and he's always been he's a Trump supporting football player, and because of that, I hope the 49ers lose every game. I like the 49ers as a team. Yeah. I think that it is so very telling to me that them boys have been flopping like dead fish ever since that boy Colin Kaepernick. They got closer and they just get. I hope they never win it as long as he out there for it. Him and his brother played for the Chargers. I hope they lose every single game. I hope they never be successful. I hope their teams I hope that their teams get closer and closer every year just to lose every year though. I can't stand it though, bro. Like get out of my face. And what was crazy about it is that after that interview, he goes to his podium and it was like one of the reporters was like, hey, I see that you're wearing a different hat now from when you kind of butted in the old boys in the interview. You want to kind of speak to that. He was like, yeah, there's a different time for that though. I'm thinking like, no, you want to put the hat on. Let's talk about it now then, bro. Like that's
right. You made the statement already.
You made it political. And so my thing is that they wanted Cap to keep the politics, keep it out of sports. But now people are defending Nick. You ain't got to say nothing. It's like, nah, talk about it. I think the way they move the goalposts specifically, and my biggest thing is this to you. We can get out of here because I know we can go here. My question to you is this, Ace Kennedy. I remember, I haven't forgotten. They're quiet because the Tea Party now has been switching the word red hat. But I remember there was a whole group of people that said, hey, we're the Tea Party. We're the people who are so against Barack Obama, right? And those are the people who were dispelling that the birth, they were riding with Donald Trump on the birth certificate. And those are the people who, because he was black, they was trying not to get him voted. And then when he got in, they all ran on the premise of repealing every single thing that he had. And all of them ran under those second that their elections where they was like, oh, we gonna get him on out of there, whatever. And they were the Tea Party. Well, then Trump comes over and takes over completely hijacks the Republican Party. And now you got all of these MAGA guys. And so my question is this, A. Kennedy. If this man loses to Kamala Harris, right? Because then he's going to be like, if he runs in 4 more years, he's going to be like 84 years old, right? And I think that politically, he's going to be about done, right? So what happens to the MAGA supporters when he's done? When Trump's when he's out of the political arena, and all he has is just his word, his endorsement, maybe still means something to the people who are old MAGA supporters. But what happens to the red hat folks when he's no longer their leader? The Tea Party,
he's gonna always be their leader. That's the thing.
But he's going to be their leader without a chance to lead the country, right? So my thing is that the Tea Party people all were riding with each other, and their whole platform was just to be anti Barack Obama. And then here it is now, these other Republicans who jumped ship to MAGA, who were traditional Republicans, right? And now they were like, well, to get elected, I gotta basically ride with him. So my thing is that if you don't have him to influence you no more, then what happens? Even the regular old uh, Republicans who were just hey, I'm a Republican, right? And you've been riding with him and you didn't necessarily want to, right? Like what happens when you no longer have him to lean on? Isn't that maybe like you said, he rides him and he's permanent? Because if he says, hey, my base, I'm endorsing this particular person, maybe all of them will support him as well. In the same way, how you got somebody who's like a Barack Obama guy, and Barack Obama says I'm a ride with somebody. Most likely, everybody's going to be inclined to roll with him, though, man. So his word might mean something still.
It's
It's
gonna be
crazy.
like that. It's gonna be like that, and I just really hope people turn out and vote in large numbers, and I hope the women stand up. I hope the black people stand up. I hope the Puerto Ricans stand up. I hope anybody that's tired, that's tired of his stuff shows up and shows him that they tired of it. Because the thing is that you could have put anybody as the president after COVID, and our economy would be what it is. And that's what people. It trips me out how stupid people are. Like, you're stupid to think that the economy is what it is because we just didn't come out of a pandemic. Like, really.
I think the thing that always blows me away the most are the lengths that people will go through to justify why they support it, and not just voting. Because see, my thing is this: people will always say the policies, right? But they can't identify a specific policy. It's just the talking points, right? They never can identify a specific policy outside of that prison reform that he passed. That's the only policy that's noteworthy, right? But I think the part about it is that it's the moving of the goalpost specifically for him, though, right? And so I always just am blown away about how people justify. If you just say, hey, I'm a Republican, he's the leader of the Republican Party, so I'm just gonna vote because that's the way my party. I kind of understand that because you have a political affiliate, right? But when you go out there to defend him, right? And you got and part of you justifying your support of him, you're defending him. And let's make you a Trump supporter. And so to me, it's like I always am blown away, still to this day, when I see minorities go out of their way to defend him and their support of him, bro.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Look, man, we the Slash Brothers. That's Charlie Venus. I'm Ace Kennedy from ATL to OKC. We out. Thank y'all for hanging out. And thank y'all for on the replay too. We love y'all. We out.
Peace.
It doesn't matter what your name
The
is.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast.
Can you
of
dig
all
it,
time.
sucker?